Most people want fruit, but very few are willing to plant trees, and even fewer are willing to plant trees they may never sit under. That is where the real difference between a successful life and a significant life begins. Jim Rohn used to say that success is not what you get, it's who you become. And becoming someone who plants trees that outlast them requires a different mindset, a longer vision, and a deeper discipline than most people are comfortable with. We live in a world addicted to speed, fast results, quick wins, instant validation, but anything that truly matters moves slowly. Trees don't rush, roots grow in silence, and yet one day they stand so tall that storms must go around them. If you want a life that outlasts you, you must be willing to work in seasons where nothing seems to be happening. No applause, no recognition, just quiet effort and daily consistency. Planting trees means doing the hard, boring, unglamorous work when no one is watching. It means reading when others are scrolling. It means saving when others are spending. It means learning skills today that will pay dividends 10 years from now. Most people ask, what do I get out of this right now? The disciplined few ask, what will this create over time? A tree does not argue with the weather. It doesn't complain about the soil. It adapts, it digs deeper, it strengthens itself quietly. Life will not always give you perfect conditions. Sometimes you will be planted in poor soil. Sometimes the rain will come late. Sometimes the sun will burn. But strong trees are not raised in comfort. They are forged through resistance. The same pressure that feels unfair today may be the very thing that gives you depth tomorrow. Jim Rohn taught that small disciplines repeated daily lead to great achievements over time. That is how trees are planted, one habit at a time, one decision at a time, one disciplined day stacked on another. You don't change your future by making one dramatic move. You change it by changing what you do consistently. A little better thinking, a little better action, a little better standard. When you plant trees that outlast you, you stop living only for yourself. You start building businesses that create opportunities. You raise children with values, not just comforts. You share knowledge instead of hoarding it. You mentor, you teach, you model what is possible. And one day, long after you're gone, people will enjoy shade they never knew you planted. The tragedy is not that life is short. The tragedy is that most people never think long enough. They trade long-term greatness for short-term pleasure. They cut down trees instead of planting them. They consume more than they create, and then they wonder why nothing meaningful remains. Legacy is not an accident. It is designed. It is planted deliberately. Imagine living with the mindset that every day you are either planting seeds or pulling weeds. Weeds grow automatically. Trees grow intentionally. Neglect creates decay. Discipline creates growth. If you don't design your life, someone else will do it for you, and their design will rarely serve your highest potential. You don't need to be perfect to plant trees. You just need to be committed. Start where you are. With what you have, with what you know, the smallest seed, planted consistently, can become something massive. What matters is not how fast it grows, but that you never stop planting. And one day, years from now, when others are enjoying results you once worked for in silence, when they are benefiting from systems you built patiently, when they are standing strong because you decided to stand firm long before it was popular, that is when you'll understand that the greatest success was never about you at all. It was about choosing to plant something that would keep growing long after your hands were no longer there to tend it. True success is not measured by applause, by temporary fame, or by the fleeting recognition that fades as quickly as it comes. True success is measured by the impact that continues long after you have stopped showing up, long after the lights are dimmed, and long after the applause has ended. It is measured not by what you can take with you, but by what you leave behind, by the growth that others experience because you dared to plant seeds before anyone asked for them. Most people are too focused on instant results. They want the reward now, the credit now, the satisfaction now. They want to see the tree fully grown before they even take the first shovel to the soil, but life does not work that way. The most meaningful achievements, the ones that outlast us, are built in silence, nurtured in patience, and strengthened by consistency over time. Think about the world's most enduring contributions, the innovations, the works of art, the philosophies, the businesses, the communities that continue to thrive long after their founders are gone. None of these came from a single act of brilliance or a moment of luck. They were cultivated carefully, persistently, and intentionally. The inventor who spent years perfecting an idea did not do it for immediate recognition. The leader who shaped a culture did not do it for a headline. The teacher who poured knowledge into students did not do it for applause. They understood that their true measure of success was not in the moment, but in the long-term influence they would have, the growth they could inspire, and the difference that would persist long after their presence faded. To create something that grows beyond yourself, you must shift your perspective from what is urgent to what is important. The world constantly bombards you with distractions, with demands for quick fixes and immediate satisfaction. But the seed that will grow into a towering tree of success does not thrive in chaos. It requires focus, dedication, and an unwavering commitment to long-term goals. You must be willing to do the work that nobody sees, to take actions that feel invisible, because that is where the foundation for lasting success is built. A single day of effort may seem insignificant, but repeated day after day, year after year, those small actions compound into a result far greater than anything you could have imagined. Consider the analogy of planting a tree. You plant the seed, water it, and nurture it, but you cannot force it to grow overnight. You may not even live to see its full height, its sprawling branches, or the shade it will provide to countless others. But you continue to care for it because you understand the value of its eventual growth. The same principle applies to success in life. The relationships you cultivate, the knowledge you impart, the systems you put in place, the values you instill in others, these are the seeds that will continue to grow long after you are gone. Your impact is not limited to the days you are actively engaged. It is multiplied by the lives and opportunities you touch, the momentum you create, and the inspiration you leave behind. Many people make the mistake of measuring success by what they can see immediately. They celebrate the short-term gains and neglect the long-term benefits that are far more significant. They fail to realize that the world rewards those who plant for the future, not just for today. The effort you put in to mentor someone, to improve a system, or to build something of value may go unnoticed at first. You may not receive credit, recognition, or reward during your lifetime. Yet those very contributions have the power to ripple through time, creating opportunities, shaping futures, and fostering growth for generations to come. The measure of your success, therefore, is not how quickly you achieve something, but how enduring the impact of your efforts becomes. Discipline is at the heart of this type of success. To ensure that what you plant continues to grow long after you stop showing up, you must adopt habits, routines, and standards that support long-term results. You must be willing to invest in things that do not provide immediate gratification, to make sacrifices in the present for the benefit of the future. You must be willing to consistently add value, to nurture relationships, to teach, to lead, and to serve, even when the results are not immediately apparent. This is what separates those who create temporary success from those whose influence continues to expand long after their active participation ends. Perhaps the most profound truth about this kind of lasting success is that it is not selfish. It is not about personal gain, fame, or wealth. It is about contribution, about planting seeds that will allow others to thrive, to reach their potential, and to carry forward the work you began. It is about creating structures, systems, and legacies that do not rely solely on your presence to survive. When your success is tied to something greater than yourself, it becomes enduring. You begin to understand that the true reward lies not in the applause, but in the growth, the progress, and the lives you help cultivate. This is the essence of planting trees that outlast you. Every effort you make, every investment of time, energy, and knowledge, every act of discipline and perseverance contributes to a growth that will continue independently of your involvement. You will not see it all unfold, and that is exactly the point. Real success is not about instant validation. It is about the quiet, steadfast work that produces a lasting, meaningful impact. The trees you plant today may take years to reach maturity, but when they do, they will stand as a testament to your vision, your patience, and your commitment to creating a life and a legacy that transcends your own existence. Discipline is one of those qualities that feels constricting in the moment but liberating over a lifetime. Most people avoid it because it requires self-control, effort, and sacrifice in the short term. But those who embrace it understand that discipline is the foundation upon which freedom is built. The paradox of life is that the harder you work to structure, organize, and control your actions today, the more options, opportunities, and independence you create for yourself and for others in the future. Every choice you make with intention, every action guided by principle rather than impulse, plants a seed that will one day flourish into a life of freedom. Freedom not just for you, but for countless others who may benefit from the work you do quietly, consistently, and diligently. Most people look at success as something to be pursued externally. They want money, recognition, comfort, or convenience. They think freedom is the result of luck, talent, or timing. What they fail to see is that true freedom is built on discipline, the daily decisions to do what is hard, to prioritize what is important, and to commit to actions that are often invisible to the outside world. Discipline is not glamorous. It is not exciting. It does not come with immediate applause or public admiration. It is choosing to rise early when your bed is warm, to read when your friends are scrolling social media, to save when everyone else is spending, to keep practicing when you feel like giving up. Each of these small acts of self-mastery accumulates over time, creating a momentum that transforms ordinary people into extraordinary influences. When you embrace discipline today, you are planting seeds for a future you may not even see. Your efforts may directly benefit someone you will never meet, someone who will stand on the foundation you laid and flourish because of your choices. Think about the teachers who worked tirelessly to educate students, not knowing which one would go on to change the world. Consider the innovators who meticulously refined ideas, not for fame, but because they believed in the long-term impact of their work. Reflect on the parents and mentors who instill values, habits, and knowledge in others, creating a ripple effect of growth that extends far beyond their immediate circle. Discipline is the silent force behind this enduring impact. It is easy to underestimate the power of consistent, disciplined action because the results are rarely immediate. People want instant validation. They want to see tangible progress each day. But discipline is about planting seeds in soil that takes years to bear fruit. It is about nurturing growth in invisible ways, understanding that the harvest will come long after the planting. A single disciplined day may feel insignificant, but repeated day after day, week after week, year after year, it compounds into results that are exponential in nature. This is how empires are built, how legacies are established, and how lives are transformed. One disciplined individual can create a framework that changes the trajectory of communities, industries, and even generations. Discipline also frees you from the chaos of life. When you have cultivated habits, routines, and standards that guide your actions, you no longer rely on willpower alone in moments of temptation or stress. You have built a system that works for you, a structure that supports your long-term vision. The freedom created by discipline is not just the absence of financial or physical constraints. It is the mental and emotional space to act, to create, and to influence without being enslaved by impulsive choices or short-term distraction. The disciplined person is not imprisoned by circumstance. They are empowered by preparation, consistency, and foresight. Another remarkable truth about discipline is its invisible generosity. You do not always see the full scope of your influence, and that is precisely why it is such a powerful gift. The small actions you take, the consistent effort you put forth, the choices you make to prioritize growth over comfort, may one day give someone else the freedom to dream bigger, reach higher, and achieve more than they could have imagined. Your discipline becomes a legacy, a tool that multiplies across lives and time. You may never meet the people who benefit, and you may never witness the freedom your discipline has created, but that does not diminish its value. The impact is real, measurable, and lasting. Discipline requires vision. It demands that you see beyond the immediate, that you think in terms of weeks, months, years, and decades rather than hours, minutes, or days. It challenges you to commit to a process rather than a result, to understand that meaningful accomplishments are rarely the product of a single moment of effort. When you focus on the long term, you understand that the work you do today, whether it is saving money, mastering a skill, building a relationship, or refining your character, is a seed, and like a seed, it may take time to germinate, grow, and bear fruit. But if nurtured with consistency and intention, it will ultimately create freedom far beyond what you could have imagined. Jim Rohn often said that we are the average of the people we spend time with and the habits we consistently practice. Discipline allows us to choose both wisely. It shapes not only our own future, but also the environment around us. The people we influence, the systems we establish, and the examples we set are all amplified by disciplined action. Freedom, therefore, is not just a personal benefit. It is a shared result of the seeds we plant through disciplined choices. When we invest in ourselves and in the process of growth with integrity and focus, We are simultaneously creating opportunities and liberation for others to flourish in ways we may never see, understand, or anticipate. The beauty of discipline is that it is accessible to anyone willing to commit to it. It does not depend on natural talent, luck, or circumstance. It is a choice, a daily commitment, a standard that you decide to uphold regardless of external conditions. It is the bridge between where you are now and the life of impact, freedom, and influence you aspire to create. Every act of discipline, no matter how small, is a declaration that your future matters more than the fleeting comfort of today. Every choice to act with intention, patience, and consistency is a seed that will create freedom not just for you, but for those who walk after you, for those whose lives will be touched by the structures, habits, and standards you establish. Legacy is a word that carries weight far beyond the moment. Most people think of legacy as a monument, a name etched in stone, or wealth passed down through generations. But the truth is far deeper. Legacy is measured by the doors you open for others, the opportunities you create, and the lives you empower, even long after you are no longer present. It is the mark you leave on the world, not by what you claim, but by what you enable. Jim Rohn often reminded us that life's greatest fulfillment comes not from personal accumulation, but from contribution, from creating conditions where others can rise, thrive, and surpass what was possible before. A legacy is not about self-glorification. It is about planting seeds that continue to grow independently of your presence. Seeds that nourish, shelter, and empower generations who may never know your name but benefit profoundly from your vision, your effort, and your generosity. Too often, people live as if life is a sprint to secure their own comfort, recognition, or security. They measure success by what they achieve in isolation, by what they acquire, and by the applause they receive while still alive. But the truly wise understand that the most meaningful accomplishments are the ones that ripple outward, touching lives in ways that cannot be contained by a single lifetime. Your ability to create lasting impact is not determined by how much you take, but by how much you give, by how effectively you lift others, and by how intentionally you leave systems, knowledge, and guidance in place that allow people to flourish beyond your involvement. When you focus on your legacy, you stop seeing life as a series of personal wins and losses and begin to view it as a canvas of opportunities to empower others. Every skill you develop, every habit you cultivate, every lesson you learn can be shared in ways that elevate people around you. The work you do today may seem small, inconsequential, or unnoticed, but when applied to lift, teach, or guide, it becomes exponential. One act of guidance can alter the trajectory of a career. One decision to mentor can ignite confidence and potential in someone who was ready to give up. One structured system can create stability and freedom for countless people who follow after you. Legacy is measured not by the immediate reaction, but by the enduring ability of your influence to cultivate growth long after you are gone. To build a legacy, you must think beyond yourself. You must ask not only, what can I achieve, but also, what can I make possible for others? This requires humility, vision, and discipline. It requires the courage to invest in things that may never benefit you directly and the patience to nurture efforts that may not bear fruit within your lifetime. Most people are uncomfortable with delayed impact. They want to see tangible returns for their work, recognition for their contributions, and validation for their effort. But legacy is not about recognition. It is about preparation, stewardship, and selfless action. When you orient your efforts around creating possibilities for others, you step into a role that is far larger than yourself. You become a multiplier of potential rather than a mere consumer of opportunity. A meaningful legacy also demands intentionality. You cannot leave a lasting impact by accident. Like a gardener who selects the right soil, plants carefully chosen seeds, and nurtures them over time, you must intentionally design your influence. Identify the areas where your effort can create the greatest benefit. Invest in people, processes, and systems that will sustain growth. Focus on what can outlive you rather than what only benefits you in the short term. Every conversation, every act of mentorship, every principle you model contributes to a network of growth that expands far beyond your direct reach. Your life becomes not a series of isolated achievements, but a continuous thread woven into the fabric of others' success, a chain of empowerment stretching into the future. Legacy also teaches the power of resilience. What you leave behind must be built to endure. It cannot rely solely on your presence, energy, or charisma. Systems must function, knowledge must be documented, values must be instilled, and habits must be contagious. A true legacy does not crumble when you are gone. It thrives because it has been thoughtfully constructed, thoughtfully shared, and thoughtfully sustained. You are not creating for temporary applause, but for the steady, quiet, enduring benefit of those who will rely on what you build to navigate challenges, achieve dreams, and elevate their own potential. Perhaps the most profound aspect of legacy is that it is inclusive. It transcends boundaries of geography, culture, or personal connection. The knowledge you impart, the systems you create, and the example you set can impact people you may never meet, inspire individuals you may never hear from, and shape futures in ways that are unimaginable at the time of planting. When your focus shifts from personal gain to creating possibilities for others, your life takes on a dimension that is both timeless and boundless. The freedom, growth, and empowerment you generate extend far beyond the limitations of your own life and continue to expand across generations. Building a legacy is also deeply rewarding in the present. While the true fruits may not be visible immediately, the act of empowering others, mentoring, teaching, and creating opportunities infuses your life with purpose, meaning, and fulfillment. You begin to understand that the value of your life is not measured in what you accumulate, but in what you contribute. The people you help, the systems you improve, and the growth you foster become a living testament to the quality of your vision, integrity, and discipline. This realization transforms how you live, motivating you to invest your time, energy, and resources with intentionality, knowing that each effort contributes to a broader tapestry of enduring impact. Ultimately, your legacy is defined not by what you achieve for yourself, but by what you make possible for others. Every action, every choice, every investment of your time and energy can either create freedom, opportunity, and growth, or it can be fleeting, limited, and self-contained. By focusing on empowering others, by planting seeds that will grow independently, and by building structures, habits, and knowledge that endure, you create a life that resonates long after your presence fades. A legacy is not the culmination of wealth or fame. It is the sum of all the possibilities you unlock, all the doors you open, and all the lives you touch, creating a world that continues to grow because you dared to act with purpose, vision, and selfless intention. Imagine, just for a moment, standing at the edge of a forest you didn't plant, but one you now walk through every day. The shade cools your face, the leaves rustle above you, and the fruits of labor long past surround you. That is exactly what a life of purpose can feel like. A life where the seeds you planted years ago continue to grow, to provide, to inspire, even when you are no longer tending them. Imagine telling yourself, I may not see the full harvest, but I know my work matters. I know my choices today will shape tomorrow. Can you feel the power of that mindset? That is the mindset of someone who understands that true success is measured by what continues to grow long after they stop showing up. Every day, you are presented with opportunities to plant seeds. You can decide to invest in learning, in relationships, in building habits, in nurturing ideas, in lifting someone else. It may feel small, it may feel invisible, but as Jim Rohn taught, small disciplines, repeated consistently, create results that are extraordinary. Listen to me when I say this: the work you do quietly, the discipline you practice even when no one is watching, the choices you make to prioritize growth over comfort, these are the very things that will give life to opportunities that outlast you. Imagine your life as a garden. Are you planting weeds that take over and suffocate growth, or are you planting trees whose branches will shelter others, whose roots will reach deeper than your own life, whose fruits will nourish generations you will never meet? Think about the people you influence, who is watching you even now when you don't realize it, who is learning from your habits, your choices, your commitment to excellence. When you rise early, work hard, speak with integrity, and treat others with respect, you are teaching more than lessons. You are planting seeds that will grow into discipline, courage, and vision for someone else. Can you see it? Can you feel that responsibility and that privilege all at once? Discipline today is not about restriction. It is about liberation. It is the seed that creates freedom for people you may never meet. Every decision you make to persevere, to refine yourself, to push past excuses, expands the possibilities not only for you, but for countless others whose lives you touch in ways that cannot yet be measured. And let's be honest with ourselves for a moment. We all want to leave something behind. We all want to be remembered. But what is the point of a name on a plaque if it did not create opportunity, inspire growth, or elevate someone else? Your legacy is not what you build for yourself. It is what you make possible for others. Every act of kindness, every moment of mentorship, every system you create, every word of guidance becomes a bridge that carries someone else toward their potential. Imagine a young person, uncertain and hesitant, taking a bold step because of the environment you helped create. Imagine a future filled with people thriving, innovating, and growing because you refused to live selfishly, because you invested in the seeds of possibility, because you believed in something greater than yourself. That, my friends, is legacy. That is the true measure of a life well lived. Now you might ask, where do I start? How do I begin? Start today. Start with the smallest action. Plant one seed. Read one page. Speak one encouraging word. Mentor one person. Save $1. Do one extra act of discipline that stretches your comfort zone. Because when you do it once, you can do it again. And when you do it again and again, momentum grows. Roots go deeper, branches extend wider, and one day, long after you've stopped showing up every day, your influence will continue to grow, providing shade, nourishment, and opportunity. That is the power of intentional, disciplined action. That is the power of planting trees that outlast you. Let me remind you, the path of impact is not easy. The trees you plant may take years, even decades, to bear fruit. The discipline you cultivate may feel invisible. The legacy you create may be appreciated long after you are gone, but the reward is real, it is profound, it is eternal in a way that temporary success can never be, and the beauty is this: you don't need to see it all unfold to know it is happening. You don't need to touch every branch or taste every fruit to know that what you are doing matters. The seeds are growing, the roots are spreading, and the future is being shaped because you dared to act with purpose, courage, and vision. So, I challenge you right now to take ownership of your life and your influence. Decide today to plant trees that outlast you. Decide today to cultivate discipline that creates freedom for others. Decide today to build a legacy not for recognition, but for possibility. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, I will do what matters even when it is hard. I will act with intention even when it feels invisible. I will invest in others even when I may never see the results. I will live a life that grows beyond me. Feel that power. Feel that responsibility. Feel that hope. The truth is this: no one else can plant your trees, tend your roots, or shape the possibilities you can make for others. The seeds are in your hands, the soil is ready, and the future is waiting. Every day is an opportunity to act, to grow, to influence, and to leave a mark that time cannot erase. Your choices today echo through eternity. Your discipline multiplies in ways you cannot imagine, and your legacy is the gift you give to the generations that follow. So rise up, plant wisely, water consistently, tend with care, and know without a doubt that your life can grow far beyond yourself, that your work can empower countless lives, and that the forest you create today will inspire and nourish the world long after you have stopped showing up.